Now, I want you guys to imagine something for me for a moment. Imagine you're going to Netflix, you've seen an anime series that's like recently released and popular, and then you want to binge watch it. It's amazing. You find a character that you really, really love, and then you decide that you want to cosplay them right that moment. Now, this series is popular, it's gone viral, all your friends are talking about it. It's just released this month, and so you decide you want to cosplay your bias or your favorite character. And so, what do? You go to the Orange app, Shopee, or if you're watching from another country, you mean eBay, Amazon, Temu, whatever your shopping app of choice is. You go there and you realize that there's costumes. Yes, there's costumes already, Mora. There's costumes already for this series that just released. Is it shocking? Is it shocking, Mora? Did you guys grow up or start in the hobby at a time when the moment a series goes viral, there's already a costume for it online? Because when I started cosplaying, that wasn't how it is. And now I'm starting to get alarmed by the fact that the moment something goes viral, whether it's an anime, video game, cartoon, whatever, there's a costume for it immediately being produced by factories overseas and being sold to cosplayers. So this begs the question, do you think cosplay is starting to approach the rate that fast fashion is going at? Let's talk about it in this video. Why are you? Why is he? He's drinking my water. Hello everyone, it's Sarin Suter. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about cosplay, crafting, and cute stuff. Please say hi to my partner's cat, Mora. Mora. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Mora. Hello, Mora. You wanna listen to me talk, huh? You wanna listen to me chatting? Good boy. You wanna bite me? He wants to bite me. Bite. You know, guys, the funny thing is he literally has a cat fountain like down there on the floor below me, and he still wants this water, my water. Anyway, guys, if you're new to this channel, I'm Sarin. I'm a cosplayer of I let's how long have I been cosplaying? I've been a cosplayer since 2010. Yes, 2010. So that's about 15 years now, right, Mora? Yeah, so that's about 15 years now, and I have had a business related to cosplay also for some 10 something years, although it's on hold right now. And in this channel, I talk mostly about cosplay, crafting, cute stuff, vlogs, day to day. It's really unbranded because I'm not like trying to blow up, be a personality or anything. This is really just kind of like my diary, this channel. But I did want to talk about something that has been bothering me the past a while now. I was moving out, clearing out my house, like getting rid of a lot of stuff, including clothing, and I realized that I also had a lot of costumes that I needed to downsize. I needed to downsize my cosplays. And that got me thinking, I had so many costumes that have never seen the light of day, have not been shot, or were my quote-unquote pandemic cosplays that I kind of just ordered on impulse, took selfies of, and then I never brought them out again. That got me thinking about how, since the pandemic mostly, cosplay has become so readily available on demand. Yeah, you can order it easily these days, which was not the case when I was cosplaying 15 years ago. And is it starting to be a problem? Because I feel like it's starting to be a problem, and we need to talk about it, guys. Let's start with part one of what I think is the problem. The commodification of hobbies, or what I like to call cosplay, has now become a fashion show. So, if you've been noticing this phenomenon lately, everything you do is becoming monetized. Everything you do has to be put out on social media. You need to make money off of it somehow, and you need to be showing it off to others. Social media is great because now we can reach a lot of people more than we used to before. And it's amazing because it has the capacity to blow up niche hobbies like cosplay. Back then, really our only way of seeing other cosplays was going to conventions, and these days you can see a lot online. You can meet a lot of people with similar interests very, very easily. But with that benefit comes a lot of downsides as well. When I started cosplay more than a decade ago, it was actually seen as kind of cringe. Well, yeah, it was not common knowledge as it is right now. Back then, people ask, anong napapala mo dyan? What do you get out of it? They see it as a waste of money and time and effort and don't credit it for, as a hobby, as a creative pursuit. Nowadays, when you say you cosplay, people think you model, you have followers, you're an influencer, you have to be making money off of it somehow, you have to be selling prints, you have to have photo books, you have fans. And that's not really how it is for most people in the hobby. These days, people always say, when you have a hobby, not just cosplay, they always suggest na kaya mo siyang pagkakitaan, aka in English, that you can monetize it. By the way, if you're watching this from not the Philippines, I'm based in the Philippines and I'm Filipino. Most of my videos are in Taglish, so you might see me switching in and out of Tagalog and English, which is a very Filipino thing to do. But I hope this is understandable enough for any viewers from overseas, if I have any. So ayon, since I was saying, these days when you have a hobby, you have to be cashing in on it somehow. And it's not just you, it's not just the creator that's being pressured to like make money off of it. With people being pressured to earn money from cosplaying, the big companies, factories, costume producers also come in there and try to cash in. Nowadays, people are encouraged to earn a living or make money from cosplaying. And with that hustle culture that somehow ties into hustle cultures, people are encouraged to keep things fresh. You always have to have the new costume, the latest costume. Some people even say na you can't show up to conventions wearing the same thing as you wore last time because apparently that's embarrassing. But I will tell you it's not. But the culture these days is, especially on social media, is if you're always turning up to videos with the same cosplay, people are gonna say, don't you have other cosplays? Wala na bang iba dyan? Yan na lang ba lagi? Like, you get kind of side-eyed or made fun of. I think that's a big problem that cosplayers are kind of encouraged or peer pressured or well, that's what the internet does these days really, that people are kind of encouraged to make money off of this hobby that encourages things like overconsumption of cosplay, overproducing, making and buying more cosplays that you can afford or that you even want. Surely for all of us, there's a cosplay that we own that we bought just because of FOMO, because the series was trending and we feel left out if we didn't cosplay from what's popular right now. And that's what social media is good at doing, like fear of missing out, making people want to be part of something, for good and for bad. And as people keep up with what's trending, there's also factories in China or elsewhere that are keeping up with cosplay demands, pumping out cosplay costumes at a rapid speed that I have never seen before. Let's talk about the second problem for me. The first problem was that I feel like everyone's being pressured to monetize cosplay, to make money from cosplay, and that encourages people to overconsume and makes factories overproduce costumes The second problem now is that fast, I will call it fast cosplay. Fast cosplay is not even good. Just like fast fashion, I will like die on this hill. Any costume you see produced immediately by some factory out there, like right after a season ends, or so in some cases, when a series is not even done yet, some factories are already producing costumes for the series. These costumes pumped out at breakneck speed. They're not even good, not quality, will not last, made of cheap polyester fabric, and at many times I will die on this hill. They're overpriced. When you look at the costume that you get for that price, it is not worth that price. These costumes are practically falling apart. The stitches are ripping at the seams. The fabric is so flimsy, if not downright, horrible. And they're basically throwaways. This is just subjective, it's my opinion, but I would say almost all the time. All costumes pumped out very quickly by a factory right after a series came out, horrible quality. The people who think that cosplay is good, that that costume is good for that price, sadly just do not know the standards of costuming or clothing any better. When I go to shopping sites like, the Orange app, Shopee, Lazada, and I see reviews for these cheap costumes, 5-star reviews. I can see people leaving these costumes 5-star reviews. But I would look at their review and see very clearly that they're happy with it, although the costume is not as it was presented in the product photos. I could see that the fabric is very thin. I could see like the stitch is not sturdy. But these days, maybe it's because of the oversaturation of fast fashion in itself. I feel like younger people or other people do not know how to judge good clothing anymore, and this also applies to costumes. People will say this is a 5-star costume, but I can see very clearly from the photo that it is not. Like, girl, our standards, where have they gone? Where have our standards gone when it comes to clothing? I'm getting worked up because I'm a seamstress. I make costumes myself and I thrift almost everything I own. So yes, I do own some of these. I'm also guilty of buying these fast cosplays, especially before. And when I do see them, uh, there's a lot of things that I'm dissatisfied with them because I also sew. But yes, I understand one reason people buy them is because of the time factor. Like, not everyone can sew, not everyone has the time to be making their own costumes or like making choices about fabrics and giving them to their local seamstress. So yes, I'm not saying here that buying costumes is inherently evil. I'm just saying that I am alarmed at the quality, very poor quality that these costumes are being made, and just alarmed at the standards that people have these days. Like I said, I feel like we're getting too used to cheap clothes that when we see a cheap, poorly made clothing in our hands, we cannot even ascertain or say that it's terrible. The popularity of fabric choices when it comes to these fast costumes, which I will really never understand. Majority of the times, costume, cosplay costumes are made with costume fabric, which is polyester that's unbelievably shiny. And a lot of cheap manufacturers or factories like to default to this for some reason, maybe because it's cheap, but also there's the choices of even among bigger brands, like say Uwowo, One Third Delusion, among others. One thing I see them do a lot, but thankfully they've changed now, is the popularity of using synthetic leather in their products, or PU leather, so plastic leather, the shiny leatherette that I cannot for the life of me know what it's called for you guys, because fabric tends to be called a different name here in the Philippines than it is internationally. So we call it leatherette, the shiny leather fabric choices. And the problem with that, factories like to use these for their details. But the problem with these is that they do not hold up in a tropical country like the Philippines. They will flake off. They're incredibly sensitive to temperature and moisture. You have to handle them in a specific way. So, a costume in storage, unused, made of this material, will probably be destroyed without you even getting much wear out of it. So, factories are choosing fabrics that are more convenient and easier for them to work with, but will not last in the buyer's possession, which I'm passionate about. Like when I buy costumes from brands, I look at the fabric material in the photos very closely. And if I see that, or I think that this fabric they used, especially leatherette, is there, when I see that fabric choice, I don't buy it because I know it will not last me long. I prefer woven fabrics that will go in the wash easily, or I don't have to take special care of, because these costumes be expensive, man. Like, if they're gonna be destroyed and I barely got to use them, I will be so mad. Okay, I will be so mad. There's very, very few instances that we actually use cosplay to. We use them to conventions and photo shoots. If you're out here wearing them to real life, I don't know, time and place, please. But yes, because we rarely wear these novelty costumes, the price per wear doesn't really work out the way it does for normal clothing. So if I'm gonna buy an expensive costume, I better get something good that won't like deteriorate in storage without me ever getting to use it. So that's it. That's my problem with fast cosplay. They encourage the overconsumption of cosplay because people these days are just buying because it's so convenient. And then factories are making cheap, low quality cosplays that will not last at all for us. By the way, this is like my first video essay of this type that's mostly in English because I do mostly have a Tagalog audience, Filipino audience. But yeah, I wanted to say this in English because I feel like this is a wider problem, not just in the local cosplay community, but in the cosplay community worldwide. Like, this is kind of alarming. But then let's start talking about what I think are solutions. But before we go there, I just want to say that the burden of fast fashion and fast cosplay is not on us as the consumers. I really am happy that cosplay has become accessible to everyone, especially to those who are not skilled, do not have the resources, time, or are unable to learn to make their own cosplay. I'm really happy that cosplay has become mainstream and is reaching a lot of people, and the convenience that online shopping offers, even for us creators and crafters, is amazing. These days, we can just buy parts, fabrics, etc. online, but back then we kind of had to salvage, look for it ourselves, and figure things out on our own. I really am happy that I really am happy right now that that's not the case. Everything's easier for us. But with everything being easier, it does come with its downsides. But as consumers, I also think we kind of have the power to influence the direction of how our industry or how our community is going, such as the pushback against fast fashion right now that we're seeing in the fashion community. So who knows, maybe with enough traction, or if with enough people thinking about this or pushing about this, maybe we can push back a little against the so-called fast cosplay, and we can get manufacturers to think about cosplaying differently. Let's talk about the solutions or things I think people should consider about the state of cosplay right now. First off, I urge people to reconsider or reflect on why they cosplay. I think people should remember why they cosplay because it might help you curb back on a lot of cosplay purchases that you otherwise would regret later on after buying them. Such as in my case, the reason I actually cosplayed is because first off, I love crafting. I make my own cosplays, most of them, although I do buy, yes, but majority I make my own costumes. And for me, it was really just a way to represent the characters that I loved, influenced my life so much, became a role model, gave me inspiration. Like, I want to honor these characters and the people who made them by cosplaying them. And in this way, I also like to meet people who adore these characters or or meet people who were impacted by a video game or an anime in a similar way. It's meeting people. That's the reason why I cosplayed. So if I cosplay something just because it's trendy, that doesn't really fall in line with the main reason I got into cosplaying. Like, why am I gonna cosplay something that I'm not passionate about? So for me, I did not start this hobby to amass a museum of costumes that I will probably not wear and just keep in storage. That was not the reason I cosplayed. So that principle, being in touch with myself, with why I cosplay, helps guide me on a purchase if this purchase is worthwhile for me or not. If I'm buying a costume, I really like the quality that a certain brand has made of the costume, and I really like this character. I see myself re-wearing this costume a couple of times, then I think I will buy it. And I'll have no regrets. But if I want to buy something just because, it's popular and trendy right now and I feel like I don't want to get left out, I have to check with myself then and, evaluate where I'm putting my money into. Now let's talk about another thing I think people should consider. It's to buy secondhand, thrift, or alter to get your costumes. Before buying a costume completely new, I encourage people to scour or ask around their local community, their local cosplay market, if someone has the exact same costume from a brand you've been eyeing, because chances are they might have it. Because in this community, especially when it's like a very popular series, such as like Genshin back in the day or Spy Family, people usually buy the costume for the hype and then get photo shoot done, especially for content creators, and then sell out the costume quickly. So before you buy brand new, check out your friends, see if they're gonna part with their costume soon. I know some friends also like buy a costume and then they share the cost of the costume, and multiple of them will use that costume and take photo shoots in it or wear it to a con. Because to be honest, I think a single person will not wear, like, will not get so much wear out of a costume in their whole lifetime. So if I have to share my costume with my friends, I really don't mind doing that. I also urge people to try to commission someone instead of ordering from or a random factory in China from Amazon or Shopee. It's just because your money might go far better, might go a longer way if you just commission a local instead of ordering from a factory brand. First off, sizing. Second off, fabric choice. You can choose the fabrics that you want to use. You get a say on it. You can get something worth your money that will last you longer than a factory made costume. Of course, do your due diligence and ask around for reviews before committing your money to any costume maker. And then one last thing I want cosplayers to reconsider regarding this whole issue is to shop your own stash or your own closet. Just let's be real, how many of us actually have pending cosplay plans that are not finished? I know I'm guilty of them. Like I have a couple, like I have this disease where I finish a costume to like 80% or 90%, and when it's almost done, when it needs the like last few things, I kind of get lazy and stop making it, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of us have projects sitting in our closets that are not done. And before buying the new thing, I kind of urge cosplayers to look back at what they have and, maybe bring them to life. This way we avoid much waste, and then maybe we even renew passion for things we used to love. Let's be honest too, like how many of us bought, like me, costumes during the pandemic and never gave them justice by giving them a proper photo shoot? Yep, that's me. I also have a few. So this year I'm kind of committed, and maybe even to next year I'm committed to like not buying any more costumes. This is my personal choice. The reason is because I simply don't need any more. Maybe I will go back down on this word if I like see something I like absolutely must have. But I feel like everything and in line with what the reason why I cosplay, I kind of have those stuff right now sitting in my closet, and a lot more that I haven't gotten to wear properly or enjoy. Like, what's the point of hoarding or collecting all these costumes when I've never given myself chance to enjoy them properly and participate in the hobby by wearing them? That's kind of related to the one point I said earlier, the commodification of hobbies. That these days the hobby is about buying stuff and obtaining the costumes. It's not about going out there and wearing your costume and meeting people. It's less about that these days. The hobby almost becomes the buying and the collecting, and I want to I don't want cosplay to become like that. Because the joy is when we actually wear these costumes and meet people or produce lovely photos. It's not in the act of buying the costume, it's the act of becoming the character and meeting people, at least for me. So I feel like that's all I have to say on the issue for now. What do you guys think of this topic? What do you think about cosplay? Do you think it's slowly turning into something like fast fashion? Are you also alarmed by the rates that new costumes are being produced at? Because, this happened like when I was watching a few years back Spy Family, Apothecary Diaries. The series wasn't even finished yet, but there's already costumes for them on the Orange app, on Shopee, on Amazon, yeah, whatever shopping app you use. The costumes are already out and the series is not even done. But all things said and done, I still think that it's not as bad as the fast fashion industry, the actual fashion industry, because a lot of reputable brands out there still do focus on making quality costumes, and also, a lot of costume brands operate on a pre order basis, so they're not overproducing more than they need because they only produce how many orders they get. This is still common in a lot of the big brands out there, but I feel like the main problem is literally these nameless brands out there that are producing costumes at breakneck speed for very poor quality. Honestly, I go to the thrift store or the ukay ukay sometimes and I see full on costumes on the racks. So that's how these overproduced, very cheap costumes end up going to anyway. Like, you still see them in the thrift stores. They go in the landfills if no one buys them. So, yes, it's concerning and I hope this trend doesn't continue. What do you guys think about it? Have you reflected on your cosplay shopping choices? Am I being too critical here? If you guys have any reactions, comments, or thoughts about these kind of costumes being put out, Let me know in the comments below and let's start a healthy discussion on it. So that's it for this video. This is Sarin. Hi, hello. And yes, I cosplay, craft, I love sewing, and my videos are about those. Occasionally, I talk about online business, although my online shop is on hiatus right now until the foreseeable future. Maybe I will reopen next year. So yes, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you.